Palo Duro Canyon State Park in Texas is the second largest canyon in the U.S., right behind the Grand Canyon. It is enormous, and here are some of our favorite hikes and spots to visit.
This is Magellan.
And this is Greyhound.
Where we make videos about epic road trips, kayaking, hiking, and other outdoor adventures.
This is part of our America's Grandest Canyons road trip series, where we traveled cross-country to explore the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Glen Canyon, Palo Duro Canyon, and more. Stay tuned for more videos in our evolving trip playlist.
Palo Duro Canyon State Park, located near Amarillo, Texas, is known as the Grand Canyon of Texas and features dozens of trails for hiking, biking, mountain biking, and horse riding.
There are numerous tent and RV campgrounds, and there's even an equestrian campsite so that you can bring and ride your own horses. We stayed at the Hackberry Campground on the floor of the canyon and love the surrounding views.
Things to note. Entry into the park is $8 if you're not a Texas Park Pass holder, and there is 0 cell reception throughout the park, so plan ahead.
Check out the trading post if you need firewood, ice, food, drinks, or crickets.
Stick around until the end to watch Greyhound eat those. The most popular destination in the park is the Lighthouse, an iconic rock formation that you can hike to. Before we get to that though, a brief detour. Because we stayed at the Hackberry Campground, we were about 1 mile from the Lighthouse trailhead. Instead of driving to the parking lot, we decided to hike the Paseo del Rio trail, located right at our campground. And we were glad that we did. While only a mile or so, the easy hike along a tiny unnamed river features an old cowboy dugout that you can explore. There is also a giant rock cairn with a sign for Shal-A-Ko, the rainmaker.
We're still a little confused about who our buddy Shal was. If you know, let us all know in the comments. Supposedly, he was a Native American that was either born the first day of rain after a long drought or simply blessed the area with rain upon his death.
At the end of Paseo del Rio, you'll walk along the road for a few hundred feet to the Lighthouse Trail parking lot. Dogs are allowed on this trail if they're on a leash, but we decided to leave the Zeusinator back at the camper because of the high heat and mileage.
The hike is 5.8 miles out and back and is mostly easy, except for the final ascent, which we'll get to.
Due to how hot it can get there, 120 degrees in the canyon, be sure to bring plenty of water and pay heed to the weather, because this is a flash flood territory during the wetter months.
When we did this hike in September, the park had tons of tiny biting flies, so keep the bug spray handy or keep moving to avoid them. After a mile or so, you'll see 2 of the most prominent points on the hike, the Lighthouse and Capitol Peak, which you'll circle around to get to the lighthouse.
Be sure to say hello to the lizards. If you're looking to add different scenery on your way back after seeing the lighthouse, the Given, Spicer, and Lowry Trail is another route you can take. It's rated as strenuous, but marked by the park as a great running trail. After you circle Capitol Peak, you will eventually see the lighthouse getting closer. Once at the base of the mountain, this is where things get interesting. The way up isn't marked very well, and you have a few options.
There's a hidden trail by the picnic tables that goes straight up, or a trail past the picnic table that will take you around and then up, which is what we did. So it was definitely flat for a while, but right at the end, right before you get to the top, it is definitely gonna get steep, so be prepared.
After ascending, you'll reach a brief flat area and a clear path to the lighthouse. You'll have one more final ascent up to the base, and can climb up top to get a better view of the 300-foot formation. Here, eat your damn lunch and enjoy the surrounding views of the canyon below.
It's super windy up there, but we found a good spot in the shadow of a nearby cliff.
There's also a path that leads around the other rock formation as well, but it appears to dead end. After you're done, head back the way you came and enjoy a different view of Capitol Peak.
Note to self, bring mountain bikes next time because this looks like an awesome ride.
Our next stop is the Big Cave. It's visible from the park road and is a nice quick side trip. Other than the brief rock scrambling up to the cave, this trail is very flat and easy.
Even Zeus didn't have a problem with it. Lastly, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention all the other great trails endorsed by friends that we didn't have time to check out. The Triple C Trail, which also happens to start at a nice overlook near the entrance to the park, and the Rock Garden Trail.
If you have very little time, but want to see the park, it's a great drive, especially in the beginning as you descend down into Palo Duro Canyon. The park roads are set up as a loop, so feel free to circle down and in and around the canyon without feeling like you've missed something.
Back to the crickets. If you're feeling particularly adventurous, you can dine on dried crickets, available at the Palo Duro Trading Post in a variety of flavors, such as sour cream and onion. Apparently, it's quite normal to lean over and pick up live crickets and eat them in the Palo Duro Canyon, Texas area. So, I had to buy some crickets.
I'm not eating them.
Magellan has decided not to eat them. I am not gonna lie. I was petrified of eating those crickets until we got back to Chicago to visit our friend Sean.
It's like croutons.
It's not like croutons.
It's exactly like croutons.
Whatever you decide to do, Palo Duro Canyon is a great hidden gem in Texas. Everyone's heard of the Grand Canyon, but a lot of people don't know about Palo Duro. And you know what that means? Less crowds. Speaking of the Grand Canyon, that's where we're headed to next. So stay tuned and be sure to check us out on the interwebs or leave a comment here.
We'll see you on the trails or in the water.